I have a spelling mistake there. So armory means is like a armor that we wear. So like the soldier, they'll go to war, they wear armor to protect themselves. So in this case, we wear armor to protect our feelings or emotion. Next. Yeah. So as we are like still young, as we children, we found ways to protect ourselves from vulnerability, from being hurt, from being diminished. Diminished means like people ignore you, yeah, and disappointed. So we put on armor. We use so how we put our armor up is by using our thoughts, by emotion, and behavior as weapons. And then we learn how to make ourselves secure. Secure means like diminish yourself like that lah, even to disappear. So now as we are adults, we realize that to live with courage, purpose, and connection, and to be the person who we really want to be, we must be vulnerable again. So I think every one of us got someone that we want to be one. And to be that person, we need to open up ourselves and reflect how we want to be this person. So we must take off this armor and put down the weapons, show up, and also let ourselves to be seen. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so feel free to stop me. Yeah, anyone at all, also feel free to stop me, and then I'll just continue lah. So as we are kids, we are often rewarded for the armor behavior. So like I think we hear this often now when we are kids. Then as a teacher or like the parents will say, oh, you shouldn't talk too much, you should behave. Like even if you're not feeling well, or like even if you're not lazy to do the homework, maybe because you're feeling sad, that's why you don't want to do homework, but the school or your parents will think that you're lazy and ask you to behave. It's even occur in work as well. Workplace, we shouldn't cry, or we shouldn't like show really happiness, or we shouldn't laugh so loud. So we need to behave, that's what they say. So these kind of settings, this kind of behavior by schools and workplace, they reward the armor. So they reward things like perfection. They reward things like emotional stoicism. Emotional stoicism means you're very numb, like you don't have much emotion, like you're very calm and very cool, that kind of stuff, emotional stoicism. And the false compartmentalizing of our lives and work. So it's like workplace, work-life balance, like that lah. Like if you're working, right, some people will keep on working after work hours, and then they expect you to they sending email to you after work hour, expecting you to like reply them. So like they don't have a balanced work life. And then next is keeping things easy and comfortable. So you don't want to like have a tough conversation. You want everything easy and comfortable, and less awkward conversation. So they value all knowing over always learning. So they like people who are like know it all. I know everything. I don't need to learn. I don't need to stay curious about anything. So this kind of school and workplace especially are very guilty of rewarding this armor behavior. Next. Okay, so in this book, Brene Brown identify two types of leadership. One type is armor and one type is daring. So there are a lot. So I just like actually just cut to a few only. So, and I will be explaining more. I will explain three of these only. But let me list out all of these first. So for Armour leadership, they expect perfection. So they expect perfection and expect that, okay, if you fear means you're losing. Whereas daring leadership is like you model and encourage a healthy striving. So it's like, okay, that is a goal. And of course, we want to reach the goal, but then we also want to work together to reach the goal. And then empathy and self-compassion. Empathy and self-compassion, that we to know that we are all humans. Sometimes we might not reach the goal. So when we fail, we use empathy and self-compassion. That's for daring lah. And for Armour leadership, they don't want you to have emotion. So they numb themselves. Numb means like ba in Hokkien, like ba. And then for daring leadership means instead of numbing yourself, you set boundaries and find real comfort. So it doesn't, you don't have to be so like friend with your leaders and all that but you can set boundaries that, okay, there are certain boundaries that you can, be friendly to your teammate and all, and find your comfort. For Armour leadership, they all put on you're either victim or you're Viking. So it means that you're either losing or you're a winner, that kind of. But for daring leadership, they practice integration. So competitors, they don't look at, for daring leadership, they don't look at competitors as, oh, we are either winning or we are either losing. Instead, they practice integration. Integration is like togetherness, I guess. Yeah. For Armour leadership, they value knowing and being right. So they value like, oh, I know everything, and I value I am right at this stuff. There is no such thing as I am wrong, that kind of thing lah. So for the daring leadership, they value being a learner and getting it right. So being a learner means, okay, there are some times that you can be wrong. So that's the difference. And for Armour leadership, usually they hide behind cynicism. Cynicism means like they say something bad about you. It's like, for example, oh, Ee Vonne, you're so lazy, that kind, that so lazy, I don't want to finish this work. That is called like cynicism. So they hide behind cynicism. But for daring leadership, they model clarity. So instead of they say, oh, I'm so lazy, or they ask what happened, like why you cannot reach this deadline. So they want a clarity, and then they understand why, with kindness and also hope. Then for Armour is using power over. They want to be powerful over all their teammates. But for daring leadership, they want to use their power within themselves. So use the power within themselves to practice the values, setting boundaries, self-compassion, empathy. And then Armour leadership, hustle for self-worth. So you need to work hard for your self-worth if you're in a ladder Armour leadership. So you need to work hard for your self-worth, or not you are considered useless. But for daring leadership, you know your value, knowing your value within, and then the leaders also value the individual teammates' value. And Armour leadership, they lead with compliance and control, meaning that you need to only listen to the leader. The leader is the power, and you cannot raise out your opinion. You cannot say out your feedback. For daring leadership, they cultivate commitment and shared purpose, meaning that you and your leader are here for a reason, for a purpose, and you guys will discuss about your own individual commitment towards this purpose. And the last one is Armored leadership, of course, will collect gold stars. So they want all the result only. They only collect all the good results. And for daring leadership, they give out gold stars. So the leaders, they will compliment their own teammates lah. For daring leadership, they'll give out their gold stars. So, yep. Any question about this so far?
Is there a middle one? Like, let's say if we see ourselves got a bit of armor or a bit of daring, if let's say we are putting it into a line lah, we need to strive from, let's say armor is 0 to daring 10, is it? Something like that?
Yeah, I can consider 0 to 10 like that.
Okay.
The question is there a middle, right?
Yeah. Middle, is it a bad thing or is okay? Or the goal should be striving towards the daring leadership based on Brené Brown, correct? I think.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jianwei.
Hi, Jianwei. Hello. We just started.
Hello,
okay.
hello. Thank you. Hello. Sorry.
Yeah, anything ask, yeah, Jianwei. All right.
Sure. Don't worry. I will ask.
Yeah. Agnes asked, is there a middle between armor leadership and daring leadership or not? So this is my opinion lah. So anyone else feel free to answer as well. I feel like there is a middle. Like some leader can be some of armor leadership and some of daring leadership. Of course, the goal will be the 10 now, which is the daring leadership. Oh, sorry. Of course, the goal will be 10, which is the daring leadership. But even if you're middle, means you're on the way to a daring leadership, and that is also good enough lah. Sir, you want to answer?
I think first thing is how to say, I think first thing is we need to recognize who we are, that's why to me, I don't view it like moving from 0 to 10, because it's more organic than that. Because different circumstances, when you are in different situation, under different difficulty, then your immaturity will come into play. This is a fact. But we need to recognize that. That's why I like the quote at the beginning of this chapter. If you go back to the beginning of this chapter, there is a quotation. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me go back and read that quotation.
Is it this one?
No.
No. Okay.
No. There is a quote. There is a quote that is printed there by Brené Brown for the beginning of this section 3. Wait. Let me go. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay. It's a quote by Minok Shafiq, Director, London School of Economics. He says, in the past, jobs were about muscles. Now they are about brains. But in the future, they are about the heart. You know why it's like that? Because of the way civilization is moving. Jobs were about muscle. Why? What happened? Now it's not about muscle anymore. Why? Very simple. Machine have taken over muscle. Machine can do machine now can do stronger work, heavier work than your muscle. That's why a lot of machine now is more powerful than our muscle. But now we have brains. But now we are also seeing that being replaced. Okay, why? AI, artificial intelligence. AI is now more powerful than our brain, faster than our brain. That's why this quote is there. He said in the past, jobs were about muscle, and then now that is replaced by machine. Now they are about brains, but that is being replaced now by artificial intelligence. That's why you will notice a lot of jobs it's replaced by computers, by what is called AI, artificial intelligence. But you will notice this, artificial intelligence got no feeling one. Okay. I don't think there will be a way where you can create something with feeling. No, I don't think so. You see, the whole issue of moral intelligence, the emotional intelligence, I don't see any way of having something that can replace. So the idea of using intuition and using moral values and using the heart, the computer, the robot can only do what it is programmed to do. But a lot of time there are issues that no, it's driven by the heart. Our heart tells us that under certain circumstances you shouldn't be doing it. Okay. Because of moral values and emotional intelligence. Now, which is where the value is. We need to understand the value. Okay, heart, soul, mind, and body. The heart and the soul, I don't see any way of replacing. The mind and the body, yes, is being replaced. The body, the physical strength of a human body is being replaced by machine. The analytical strength of the brain is being replaced by artificial intelligence. But what about the heart and the soul? No. Machine cannot love. You program inside love, they will only love the way you program them to love. But that's not real love. Now, having said that, right? Think about it. What is armor about? Armor is to protect the heart. Our armor is to protect our sense of personal value. Maybe can say also protect our soul. The internal esteem of sense of esteem or sense of value of who we are. So the armory is to protect that, but we need to understand also is that once we protect the armor, once we put a fence, once we build a wall, the wall protects the people inside the wall. Also, the wall imprisons the people inside the wall. And that's what happened to the heart and soul. If we apply armor, we are actually imprisoning our emotion. And we are also, when we imprison our emotion, we are also limiting potential. So again, your question of, is there a balance? I don't call it balance. I call it growing. It's not a balance to achieve. No. What I'm trying to say, it means is today, at my present state of heart, soul, mind, and body, I will behave in certain way of protecting myself and opening myself. Right? Tomorrow, do I maintain that same level of protection and openness? No. I'm meant to grow. So I don't call it balance. I call it growing. It makes sense? It's not like we are supposed to strive for balance. No. Please don't strive for balance. Strive to grow. Does that? Because our fullness, our wholeness, our wholesomeness lies in acknowledging our heart, soul, mind, and body, and developing our heart, soul, mind, and body. And our armor is depriving the heart and the soul to grow. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we don't use armor? No, I'm not saying that. Because why? Because we have been hurt. And whenever we've been hurt, I mean, it's same as if we broke a bone, we break a leg. So what do? We wrap a cast around our broken leg, right? So when we wrap a cast around our broken leg, the issue is this: do we keep the cast around our broken leg? No, we don't. The day will come where we cut the cast and we expose fully. Because if we don't expose our leg, our broken leg to the weight of what we need to do, then our leg forever can never have a chance to grow to its potential. So when do we cut the cast? We cannot say maintain balance. We just have to say, okay, when we grow strong enough, then we will remove the cast. So same thing with the armor. Are we supposed to maintain a balance? No, we are not supposed to maintain a balance. We're supposed to grow through it. So you have to decide. You have to decide and define the process by which you remove the armor. Not maintain a balance for the armor, but remove the armor. So is there a balance? I don't know. I don't like to use the word as a balance. I don't know. To me, I don't like to use that. Balance what? Balance where you don't feel pain or overwhelming pain. But what's wrong with overwhelming pain? If it's a need for you to feel the overwhelming pain, why not? So when is it a pain that will break you? I don't know. So how do you decide the balance? So to me, I don't know. I cannot visualize the balance. But all I can do is visualize the determination to grow. To grow with to a point with not with to remove the dependency on armor. Does that answer your question?
I don't know. I asked wrongly or you understand wrongly. I think I didn't ask whether it's a balance, but I get your point, sir. Basically, yeah, I get what I mean. It's just that I'm thinking if I have the traits for both now, then is it I need to move towards to daring leadership? That's all. I think this is a very good self evaluations on where are we currently and then where to move to.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is I think it's not about balance. It's about growth.
Yeah.
That's all.
Because definitely some at our current stage, maybe we can see some here, some there. Like I have a bit of 1, 2, 3 at armor, then I have a bit at daring at 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So the idea is to not stay there lah. Just continue, move forward. Okay.
I think it's the issue of recognizing what you lose if you keep the armor. Right? I know having the armor protects you from pain, but the key is to recognize the opportunity or the benefit that you lose by keeping the armor. The more you keep the armor, the more you are how to say armor blocks opportunity. Armor blocks the pain, but also at the same time it blocks opportunity. And direct because pain comes along with it a lot of opportunities. We have been taught that pain is bad, but we have to learn to see that pain is good. The gift of pain. I think for those who have gone through the book of the gift of pain, you understand that.
Okay. Ee Vonne, pass to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll move on to the next slide. So, like I said, there were a lot of it, but the three main culprit for armor leadership is perfectionism, foreboding joy. Oh my God, what happened to my perfectionism? Foreboding joy. Foreboding joy means you don't want to feel happy. And lastly is numbing. Numbing means you bar yourself. Were the top form of armor lah. And then the rest of it, just now we mentioned one was the common example in organization. Okay, next slide. So the first one is perfectionism. So for armor leadership, they want to drive perfectionism and foster the fear of failure. So Brené Brown, she listed out what is perfectionism and what is not. So what is not perfectionism is not the same thing as striving as excellent. So I think there's a repeated. So perfectionism is not the key to success. In fact, it hampers the success. And this is because you want the thing so perfect that you actually don't want to go and try new things, or like you don't want to learn new methods to reach the goal. So it actually hampers the success instead. And perfectionism is not a way to avoid shame. In fact, perfectionism is a function of shame, because you feel that, oh, I need to be success. If the things that you do is not perfect, what comes next? Shame. So you shame yourself for why this task is not perfect, why I didn't do this perfectly. So, and then Brené Brown defined perfectionism as self-destructive. It's very self-destructive in your thoughts. You always will think that, okay, I need to be perfect, or there's nothing. And it's very addictive. Addictive means like you keep on thinking and thinking again and again that you need to be perfect. So a very addictive belief system that can fuel the primary thought. So primary thought means like your current thought, like your existing, how you decide things, how you behave is your primary thought. And this perfectionism can feel this primary thought. And perfectionism is addictive because when we invariably do experience shame, judgment, and blame, we often think that it's because we're not perfect enough. So when we experience shame, when we experience judgment or blame for the task that we didn't do properly, we always think that, oh, because we're not perfect, we didn't do perfectly. So that is armored leadership of driving perfectionism. So next slide. Okay, instead of driving perfectionism, try to model and encourage healthy striving, empathy, and self-compassion. So conversation about perfectionism within trusting and brave team can be healing and powerful. So for example, you feel that, okay, I need to be all or nothing. That is in your thoughts. But if you share it to your teammate, it requires trust and braving. And it also can be healing and powerful, how we can address to this perfectionism issue, like all or nothing issue. So the goal is to get clear about where as a team. The goal is to get clear about going where as a team. So meaning that we are moving as a team. We are not moving alone. But for perfectionism, it's more about individual. Okay, I need to be perfect. I need to be perfect. And if you're a leader, you might unconsciously impact your teammate that, okay, your teammate also need to be perfect. Yep. Okay, next one. So the next is foreboding joy. Foreboding joy means you are forcing yourself not to feel happy. So for example, do you like, if any one of you ever feel like, okay, don't get too happy, or not, this will happen, or something bad will happen in the workplace. So some of us might think it before, oh, we cannot get too happy, otherwise our sales maybe next month might not do well enough, or something like that. So when we feel joy, it is a place of vulnerability. So you're opening up yourself to feel happy. So it's like you're being fragile, and you're also being gratitude about this experience. So that's why you feel happy. So when something joyful happens, we start planning on being hurt. So it's like, oh, we cannot feel too happy, otherwise we know like something bad will happen. So at work, there are two kinds. First is we are afraid if we celebrate with our team or have a moment to even breathe at all, we are just inviting the disaster, or like something will go wrong. And then the second part is you foreboding joy show up at work. Is by withholding the recognition. Withholding recognition means you don't want to give recognition to your teammate. You don't want to recognize your teammate's effort. Otherwise, because we don't want our employee to get excited, because there's still much work to do. So that's why we don't want to recognize them. So these are the common one at work that we forbode our joy. Yes, high five, parents. Okay, next one. So instead of foreboding the joy, practice gratitude and celebrate milestones and victories. So gratitude is allowing yourself to recognize that, okay, I achieved this, and I'm grateful for this. And in fact, gratitude is even more effective than you forbode the joy, you don't give your recognition. People will feel more motivated if you recognize your teammate for their effort. And next. Agnes. Okay. So okay, the last one is numbing. So numbing is either you numb or you're taking the edges off. Doesn't have same. Sorry, I don't understand this. But okay, numbing is like bar. You make yourself bar. Lor. So we take the pain and we take off the discomfort. And if we take out the pain, if we take out the pain and discomfort, we are by default taking out the joy. We are taking out the love. We are taking out our belonging and also the emotion that give us meaning to our life lah. Because pain and discomfort is also part of our meaning of life. And for many of us, the first response to the vulnerability and discomfort is to not lean towards discomfort law. Like when we feel pain, feel discomfort, our first response is to not feel more pain, but instead we want to make it go away. So how we make it go away is there are a few ways that we ourselves do lah. Some of us, we just don't talk about it. But some of us, they use substances like alcohol or drugs to make it go away. And that doesn't necessarily is a very healthy way to make it go away. So next slide. So instead of like you want to make it go away, you set your own boundaries and find your own real comfort. So if vulnerability, resentment, and anxieties are the biggest drivers of numbing. So resentment is always related to lack of boundaries. Resentments mean hatred. So first, when we feel that pain or that anxiety, instead of asking ourselves, what is the quickest way to make this feeling go away? We ask ourselves, what are these feelings and where did they come from? So instead of like you want to escape or you want to make it go away, you face it itself and ask yourself, why this feeling are here for? Like, why am I feeling this way? And what's the trigger? And second of all, figure out what brings you the real comfort and renewal. So comfort is not numbing. Numbing is not the real comfort. We deserve a real comfort. Real comfort is like talking to your friends or like talking out to your counselor, maybe if you're going for therapy, and then writing it out your concern. Because if you numb your feelings or your concern, they aren't always they didn't just disappear. The issue didn't just disappear. You just put it aside only. So slowly you pile out. If you keep numbing. So yeah, we need to figure out what's the source for these feelings. Next slide. So like I said before, there is a real comfort and versus shadow comfort. So there is a shadow comfort. So when we feel anxious, disconnected, or vulnerable alone, sometimes like booze means alcohol, food, work, binge watching, TV show dramas, they are shadow comfort. They are not real comforts. But in reality, they are just like, you're just casting it aside only. You're just putting it aside. Next question. Next slide, sorry. So all of this, why we armor ourselves, is also part of the ego. So ego is an eager and willing conspirator of blocking away our heart. So protecting our ego and fitting in is why we reach our armor. In the situation where we think that are we being liked or respected is at risk. So for example, in the situation that puts you being disrespected, you feel defensive. So that's why you put armor up. So the ego desire for gold star and self-protection can certainly get in the way of creative growth and musical risk-taking. So it means that the ego desire to want for results and also self-protecting yourself can get in the way of your growth creatively or maybe personally also. Next question. So it doesn't necessarily bad to have ego, but to counter this is wholeheartedness. So Brené Brown define what is wholeheartedness is engaging in our lives, engaging our lives from a place of worthiness. So it means that courage and compassion and connection to wake up in the morning and think no matter what, I am enough. No matter how I feel or I didn't get the gold stars, I am enough. So wholeheartedness is about integration. So you integrate it into your thinking, your feeling, and your behavior. So it put down our armor in a way that we feel that, okay, we are worthy, we are enough. And next one. So the last slide is when we don't understand that the willingness to risk hurt and failure is courage, or we don't have the skills to rumble and recover, it is easy for us to put out our armor because we don't know anything about it. It's unknown. So it's easy for us to put out our armor and a weapon at the side of a small vulnerability. So in the end, it's like what Brené Brown, this is my integration, but feel free to interpret yourself as well. In the end, that armor are something for us to protect, but it only protects us temporarily. But having daring leadership or wholeheartedness is protect ourselves for long-term one. So yeah, that's the end of my slide already. Any question, any suggestion or what? Or sir, you want to say something?
So mic is on tapi no sound.
Yeah.
No, you all talk
But
first. You all talk
Oh,
first.
oh.
yeah, that's the end already of my slide. Anyone want to talk how they feel, or maybe they can relate also? I see Pei Wen say high five.
Yeah, I can relate, especially the perfectionism part. Yeah, so I literally feel like I'm in the situation like that. Yeah.
No one high five is actually me.
You are which one? The three. Foreboding joy.
Like yeah, foreboding joy. Yeah, correct. So I always prepare for the worst. Whenever I'm in the best.
Actually, this is a 性格 leh, or is because we are fear or something leh? I'm thinking, is it because the characteristic or the wounds, or don't know what is the cause, huh?
Maybe that's how I learned from my parents. I mean, like, or in most of the Chinese culture, they will usually like save for the rain, save the umbrella for the rain. 有这样的东西啊
Yeah, 未雨绸缪.
Correct lah, that's the thing lah. I don't know what the
But that one is not foreboding joy, ma.
Dia kan sayang sebelum
That one is just like prepare, and yeah, just prepare. That one is foreboding joy, meh?
I don't know. I feel it has maybe I take it further, apart from just preparing whatever that's for the future. I take it further, like for everything that I do. I don't know, probably, but I can relate lah. When I read this chapter on this part, I can relate to it lah. Like whenever I'm in a happy situation, I would always imagine or think like what will happen if like this joy is being taken away, or if this joy cannot last. I mean, definitely this joy cannot last. I know it, but still I can't help to actually think and and yeah, just dwell in it and say, yeah. I don't know
So
if
if
y'all
let's say if you thinking that this will not last long, this will end one, you will still go all out or you will reserve ticket?
Usually I have a like I don't really find myself go all out for all things. This is what I feel. So it's like I wanna put in all my effort, energy in that do one thing. But I don't know how. Yeah, usually I find myself reserve for something. So that's what I also try to overcome, but I also don't know how. Yes. But this is what I realized for myself also. So I've never experienced what people say, like 100% go all out, like give all. I don't think I'm that kind of person. But I would like to be, or I would like to try at least one for the thing that I like the most, maybe, or I'm called to do. Yeah. Maybe y'all can share on your experience if y'all have anything that y'all actually find ways to go all out, or maybe my definition of go all out is different from y'all. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
See if anyone share your
今天啊，你讲什么 go all out 什么？
I'm not somewhere just now we were just discussing like snowboarding is like you cannot fully enjoy in the whichever state of situation or mind that you are in. So let's say like 你很 happy 在一件事 from what I understand 你很 happy 那一个 situation 可是你 at the same time also when 你在做一件事你在 enjoy 着 OK but 你不能 give all out 因为我会觉得说如果我 give all out 了 接下来我的 whether 这个 joy 会 sustain 吗 whether 这个会 ensure that 我的 future is bright or something like that so 变成我做什么东西我是不能 give full force or go all out 啦 yeah something like that
哦，所以这个就是 Armory leadership 咯。
in a some way yes
然后你是 Armory 的啦，不是等人啊。
我们都有 Armory 一些不同的吧或者是可能有一些 overlapping 的对 then 我是那个 forwarding joy 的那名其实我也有
我是 perfectionism very serious severe 的 perfectionism
anyway
Hello, so quiet one.
yeah hello yeah this like also actually I can relate from my previous job experience like previously when I was working under a boss who is practice armored leadership she always think that she is very like know everything like she like hierarchy like that I think more like hierarchy like because we are lower rank staff then we don't know much then she this one she's higher ranking so she don't tend to respect our opinion yeah and then also they also measure our self-worth, or like how much we do, how much we contribute to the company, like that.
Mm. I feel like it's very easy lah. Like what Pei Wen say, very easy to put hierarchy and like measure based on the result. Because if you're in a company, you don't have time to go and attend to one by one the fear and the feeling. So like what QQ put out, leader must either invest a reasoning amount of time to attend to fear and the feeling, and that's like take up a lot of time already.
Yeah. Sometimes they just want fast result lah. Like as long as you don't make mistake, then the company don't lose money. Then anything other thing doesn't matter already lah. Like our whether the staff is it having a hard time, or whether are they struggling or what or not due to
Yeah.
the they never really think of how to let the staff work better lah in the system lah. They just want the staff to how to say, I want the staff to try to numb themselves lah to this one, to the system lah. Whether even though the system is quite toxic or something like that, the culture quite toxic, they prefer the staff to numb themselves lor, rather than they trying to change the system so that everyone can work better and happier, like that lah. I think that's my thought lah.
The rest. Hello, anyone here?
You need to call name, Yvonne. Abo tem tiam one.
Call name ah.
You ding ding dong dong then 现在 call name.
Yeah. You point someone and ask the person to talk something. Don't start from me.
You already opened it, your mic. Might as well say.
See, I just did the armor.
Yeah. Okay lah. QQ, you want to say anything?
How to put it this way? I mean, for just a few thoughts from what Pei Wen said just now is that yes, I mean, as a boss or as a leader, I mean, sometimes leader wanted to be fast, to be efficiency. Sometimes they will do it like using fear, because it's much easier to control. But on the other hand, also, if let's say that, I mean, this is from my opinion, from what I've encountered before lah, is that if you are too open, or it will end up that your worker will eat, like the worker will eat you, you know what I mean, like 夹条路, you know. That sort of way lah. So I mean, in the end, you also as a leader also have to balance between both, because you wanted your worker to grow, you wanted to grow as well, but also not to the point that they take it for granted and abuse that the things that you are given to them. That is my opinion lah. And then as for armor leadership and daring leadership, most of us also have both lah. It's just that, if like Sir said, if you want to grow, then you have to move towards daring leadership. But also sometimes when the heart cannot take it, or that ego comes in, I mean, our reflex would be go back to armor leadership, because we wanted to protect that. right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my one cent opinion, 1 cent thought. All right, next. Any else on sharing?
Yeah. Anyone else? Steve say got nothing. You haven't experienced this before?
He can see one.
Yeah, like all your leader have been, you know,
Just now when
daring
QQ
leadership.
share, he asked me he got this trait or not. So you share.
Oh, okay, share lah. Share it to everyone.
Wait, what Steve asking?
He feel 被出卖了。
Come, say something. I've been very quiet past few already.
Okay, I stop recording for now. Then we all share freely, okay? Because this one we don't need to upload